Hey everyone, it's Jensen here again. Gonna talk about what happened over the weekend and stuff. It was pretty exciting. And just I wanted to start just talking about sports and a little conundrum I have with it, because normally I like rational things. I like things just to make sense and not to be irrational about things. And yet my love of sports is definitely irrational. And there is a reason for it. It's because it's just so unpredictable and so exciting. And sometimes I just hate it because if my team does awful, like they did the week before against Stanford for USC, I mean, it just puts me in a bad mood. And I know that's irrational, but if they do good, it's just the best. And so there were several things that happened over the weekend that I wanted to highlight that sort of encapsulate this randomness and craziness that really only happens in sports. And so one of them, well, let's start with the biggest one, the USC game. USC obliterating Washington State, and it didn't make sense. Because in the game, I mean, first drive, Kedon Slovis goes down, put in our true freshman backup QB Jaxson Dart, and he looks shaky, and Washington State is just flying up and down the field. And and building that lead, they got up 14-0, and it just looked like it could just continue to roll into just another what happened to him against Stanford. And then all of a sudden, 4th and 9, Jaxson Dart, true freshman quarterback, who's already injured his knee in the game. He gets up and throws just the perfect pass right into the end zone for a touchdown. To put the game within reach at halftime, 14-7. I mean, still thinking this is going to be a close game. Who knows what will happen? And sorry for all the shadows and light, but my face doesn't look good anyway, so who cares? Anyways, and then USC has not scored like a third quarter point in like the entire Clay Helton era. I don't know what the problem is, but adjustments just never seem to be made. Nothing ever changed. And it's like 6 years of this where you can have good first quarter, good second quarter, good fourth quarter, but the third quarter, when you're coming out of half, just nothing ever good happens. And in this game, the very first thing, bam, fumble on the kickoff. USC recovers. They get a lucky, roughing the passer penalty to keep the drive alive. But bam, get a touchdown. And then to tie it up 14-all. And then just the floodgates broke, and Jaxson Dart looked like he was just a seasoned veteran, just chucking the ball all over the place. It was amazing. It was a great game, great feeling. Seeing USC score, I think it was 28 points in the third quarter, and went on to win the game. I think it was 45 or 48. I don't know what it was, 40 something to 14. And just incredible. And so, Jaxson Dart, he looks amazing. Going into creating the controversy, who are you going to start? I think they'll probably still stick with Kedon Slovis. News today is that Jaxson Dart's, his knee's injured, so he's going to be day-to-day. He probably won't get into practice all this week. And so I think Kedon is probably going to keep that starting job. Probably deservedly so, but Jaxson Dart there, you couldn't have predicted that and how he played. And if Slovis plays like he has in the first two games, I would be moving on to Jaxson Dart, because for some reason the offense just opened up and passes down the field. It was looking great. And so I'm confident that Keaton can do that. I think Jaxson Dart will be better in the long run than Keaton Slovis, but right now I do think Keaton Slovis is probably our best bet still. To weigh in on the QB controversy, although it would be a shorter leash. Like I said, if we're seeing stuff like and can't move the ball like in the first 2 games, why not? I mean, the coach is already fired. Throw whatever you want in there. It doesn't matter. And so yeah, that's my thought. Just a great game, and lifting the spirits. Again, it's irrational. It doesn't make sense, and yet somehow it's amazing and great. So good for USC. Awesome job there. Let's see. Then other things. So to go with my irrational thing, I'm going to talk about 2 other things. One of them was we're going to go over to the world of soccer, Manchester United, specifically Jesse Lingard. So the whole story is on Tuesday, last Tuesday, not today. He was subbed in against the Young Boys late in the game. They were down a man for the red card. I talked about this in one of the previous ones. But right at the end, I mean, they had held on all game, and right at the end, I don't know what he was thinking, but he slipped he got the ball, and he was playing back on defense and decided to pass it back, because he was getting pressured, and unfortunately he didn't realize no one was back there. So when he passed it back, one of the guys from Young Boys immediately picked it up. Actually, an American player did, and shot last second of the game, puts it by De Gea, and Young Boys win the game. Just an awful mistake, awful thing from Jesse Lingard. Fast forward to their game against West Ham, and they, they tie. Manchester United ties up West Ham, and then right at the end of the game, Jesse Lingard gets subbed in again, and just takes the ball individually and just puts a rocket in the upper right corner of the goal to take a 2-1 lead. And I mean, that just that just is fitting. One, I mean, he was loaned to West Ham last season, so it's sort of fitting that he scored back where he was playing at the end of last season. And then it doesn't make sense. One moment you're losing the game, the next moment you're winning. And now the rest of the game was crazy. Cristiano Ronaldo should have got a penalty. I don't know what the ref was thinking, but he didn't. And then West Ham brought it all the way down, kick a ball like to center it. It hits on Shaw's arm, so they get a penalty, and they sub in Noble, which I think is a fine move. Some people are arguing, you shouldn't sub in the guy that hasn't played all game. If he's good enough, he can go in and take a penalty kick. But anyways, he goes in, he kicks it, and De Gea saves it. So Manchester United wins the game. Just change of emotions completely. That just crazy on how you're losing a game from Jesse Lingard and then he's winning the game. And so just a great thing of sports. I mean, it doesn't make sense, and it shouldn't make you happy and unhappy, and yet it does. And then the last one, BYU versus Arizona State. This goes down to just one play, and BYU jumped out to the lead, and then the second half was going, and Arizona State was just running it down BYU. I mean, BYU just looked like they were going to get beat in the third quarter there. And finally, BYU gets the ball, and they finally are doing something. They're driving down the field, and then their quarterback just has a brain fart moment. I don't know what it was, just utterly stupid. And he's getting pressured, just throw the ball away. But no, he doesn't throw the ball away. He throws it right to an Arizona State guy who picks it off. And then he's running all the way back down the field. And I'm sorry, I don't know the names, so you're not going to get the names. But anyways, the BYU guy, he follows him all the way down, and then like catches him from behind, and Mortal Kombat jumps up over his shoulder, punches the ball out. It's just incredible play. Forces a fumble, and then BYU recovers to get the ball back after throwing an interception. Had Arizona State not even scored on that interception return, but just kept it, and if you would have just stepped out of bounds, I think Arizona State would have won that game. But for that crazy Mortal Kombat punch thing, just incredible what sports can do, which is why it's irrational, and yet it's so wonderful and makes me so happy and so sad all at the same time. I mean, all in one play you had that there. An interception, crazy Mortal Kombat punch fumble thing from behind. Just crazy. So, and then of course BYU does go on to beat Arizona State. So those are my 3 main points on my point of sports are irrational and yet so amazing and fun. And yeah, my wife doesn't get it. I don't get it personally, but I just love it. So I don't know. Like I said, it's irrational, but awesome. And then just to touch on a couple other things in the world of sports and stuff. I mean, Pac-12 South was awful, other than USC, of course. Go Trojans. But UCLA, I think I called this one, that they were a little bit overrated, and Fresno State, who I think is a good team, beat them. So it's good for Fresno State. Go Bulldogs. And then the rest, I mean, Arizona lost to Northern Arizona. Utah's a mess. They've lost their starting quarterback now. He transferred away. So they're a mess. And who else? Colorado got just shut out. That was a joke. And so the Pac-12 isn't looking all that good. Oregon, they were playing a nobody, so they've won comfortably. Washington got a win. We'll see if they can keep that and turn it around and actually become a team that I thought they would be in the beginning. I'm not too confident about that anymore, but we'll see. I think, and I'll talk about this next time, but Stanford, UCLA, that'll be an interesting game to watch this next week to see what's going to happen in the South and North. Other things, Alabama, Florida. That was a great close game. I thought Alabama was clearly better, but Florida's good. Georgia's going to need to look out for them. It's going to be tough. I still think Alabama is a class above everyone. I don't know what's wrong with Clemson's offense right now. It could have been just that their game was delayed forever, that they just got out of sync or whatnot. But that's something to keep an eye on because they haven't scored very many points in this season. And trying to think of other things. Penn State beat Auburn. I didn't get that right, but oh well. Penn State's looking pretty good. Ohio State's not looking good, and Michigan is looking decent. Like this may be the year that Penn State or Michigan can overtake Ohio State, because Ohio State's looking pretty shaky now, and. Yeah, and I'm sorry that Nebraska lost to Oklahoma. It was close there at the end, but anyways, not thinking of anything else. I'll probably have some rant. Like there's the whole NFL unsportsmanlike taunting stuff that I may talk about in the next video, and what's going on in the NFL, and who knows. But that's all for now. And starting probably next month, I'll start probably trying to rank some teams. Like I said, don't rank teams until after a month of play. See what's going to happen. I mean, what happens this week if Stanford beats UCLA? Well, then UCLA doesn't look very good. Stanford looks like they may be good despite a week 1 loss to Kansas State. So anyways, I'll start looking at that and seeing who I think is at the top of different conferences here pretty soon. But until later, have it good. Bye.